Now, let me take you back to the Football World Cup last month in Qatar. England versus Wales in a huge game, but at half-time it was 0-0. And let's be honest, not much had happened. Step forward, chart-topping singer Chesney, whose brilliant half-time performance was credited by many of the players themselves with inspiring England to a 3-0 win and an eventual place in the quarter-finals. Of course, bad news for my lovely viewers in Wales, of whom there are many. But it was a memorable occasion, and I'm delighted to say that pop sensation Chesney joins me now. Hi, Chesney.
Hey, Mark. How are you, mate? It's been a little while.
I'm so well. And listen, what a moment for you in Qatar.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, you know, the first time I'd played a stadium in 30 years, which was great. And to have 65,000 people, England and Wales fans, singing that song, with me was phenomenal. Like, you know, hairs on the back of the neck type of stuff. And then it all ended up going crazy. I met the whole of the England team pretty much. And, it was a crazy time. I became the England's mascot.
Too right, what a mascot. And listen, tell me about these chaps in the flesh, the likes of Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford. I mean, did they seem consumed with tension because they're at the World Cup? Were they stressed out? Were they biting their nails? What was their demeanour?
Well, of course, when I met them, it was literally after that game where they just had a great victory. So I was standing in the tunnel there, and they were all coming in and full of smiles and just kind of laughing and joking. And there was a great kind of camaraderie within the team, as far as I could tell, you know, and it gave me great hope for the rest of the tournament, to be honest, because I could really tell that they all kind of loved each other. It was a nice kind of community that they showed, you know.
Yeah, well, I thought you performed brilliantly. You are, of course, a man that's touring the world all year. You've never been in greater demand, but this must have been one of the biggest gigs ever.
It really was an amazing moment for me. I loved it. And I'm a massive football fan. So when my manager said, hey, do you fancy doing the half-time at the World Cup? I was like, yeah. So I jumped at the chance and found myself there at that stadium. And it was it was a great ride. I ended up coming back to the World Cup, and I was hanging out with everybody in the UK media and just kind of being part of the furniture out there in Qatar. It was really fun, and then it kind of all culminated in playing the fan festival in front of 50,000 people, which was just another amazing moment. So yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah, are football fans quite a difficult audience? Are they a bit noisy or a bit drunk?
Well, there was no alcohol in Doha, so
good point.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a whole nother thing. But no, to be honest with you, I was a little trepidatious, I have to be honest, about singing the one and only in front of that crowd. Because there was like a kind of crowd participation bit in the middle there where everything dropped out, and I was just hoping that everyone was going to sing, you know, and luckily for me, they did. So I was thinking I was just going to be me, Billy Mo Mates, just kind of singing the chorus, the one and only, but it turned out good.
Now, your fellow superstar Elton John had a very important gig, the very, very sad occasion of Princess Diana's funeral, and he sang, as you'll remember, a reworded version of Candle in the Wind in front of a viewing audience of, I believe, 2 billion people. And old Elton had a prompter. He had a little auto cue with the lyrics next to the piano, just in case he forgot any of the words. Have you ever forgotten the words at a gig?
Oh, yeah, all the time. My bandmates always take the mickey out of me for that. I'm dyslexic, and I think one of the things that comes with dyslexia, well, certainly for me, is lyrics just kind of go out of my head. I'm fine with music. Music is absolutely fine. And very, very rarely will I forget the lyrics to the one and only. But, of course, if I do, I can just hold the microphone out to the crowd. There you go.
Yeah, that'll do it nicely. Can we talk about your mate Rick Astley? He's in the news at the moment. Of course, he had so many hits in the 80s and the early 90s. He's suing the rapper Young Gravy for using an alleged impersonation of his voice. Now, we can't go into the details of that case, but do you think plagiarism or copying is a problem in the music business?
Not as big as I think that the media makes it out to be when these big cases come along. I mean, there are obvious cases where that has happened, but there's only so many notes in a scale. You know, we all kind of use very similar chords. So sometimes these things are going to happen. You know, I mean, I know I've written songs over the years where I think, oh man, that's got to be something else. Surely it's got to be something else, because it, you know, kind of reminiscent in my head somehow, you know, and then it ends up not being. But, you know, honestly, I think some of these cases that they come because they sound similar or they feel similar. But in reality, you know, as I said, there's only certain amount of chords and melodies out there. And some of them, you're going to sometimes get some similarities, you know. But of course, there are obvious cases where that is true, where plagiarism does happen, of course.
Yes, of course, but sometimes it's parallel thinking, right?
Yeah, that's true as well. It's like inspiration. You're inspired by your favorite artists and your favorite songs, and you know, they're always going to be in there. You know, I'm a massive Beatles fan, so I'm always going to use that seventh chord. You know, it's just the way it is.
Too right. Now listen, Rick, I know that you carefully, so you're not Rick, you are Chesney, apologies.
Excuse me, Marcus.
I tell you, what a slap in the face.
I'll start calling you Alistair.
Yeah, you better do that. I've got Rick on the brain. Chesney, can we talk about, because you don't get involved in politics, which I really, really respect. Another of your colleagues in the music industry, Rod Stewart, called up Sky News this week to speak out on the government and about the strikes. But you generally stayed away from politics, right?
Yeah, I stay away from kind of, you know, venting, as it were. I was watching your last guest there. I live in America, so, you know, I am not a Donald Trump fan. And, you know, so I can, you know, I get involved in politics in as much as I have my opinions. I just don't think that, you know, you need to kind of impart it to everyone you meet. You know, I'd rather talk about music and what I do. You know, that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about what I do. So, you know, obviously politics is very important and a big, huge part of everyone's lives. It's everything. But, you know, I'm not a politician. I don't want to get on anyone's bad side.
Well, look, I think
certainly
that's
not yours, Alistair.
It's a really refreshing answer, because I think there's too much politics out there already. I mean, I'm hypocritical, but I guess it's my job to have an opinion. But what we love about you is your music, your craft, your talent. How can viewers and listeners find out about your next gigs?
Well, everything's on chesneyhawks.com. I have a brand new album coming out. I'm very excited. New team, a fantastic super producer working with me. So watch this space. Watch this space.
There you go. Chesney, great to see you. Do join us again soon. What a talented guy, Chesney Hawks, singer, songwriter and general pop legend.